Can you hear us now? Wow. All right, so no sound. The great start to the season. It's New Hampshire. We're working out our kinks. This is very interesting here. We got Kevin Suarez in. We got Ian LO3. What we were saying was it's very hot outside. Let me see. Can you guys put HD on here? Okay, cool. I was about to say, I'm like looking at our stream, and it is grainy. But hello.
We have sound.
We have sound. I can actually hear it in the ears, so that's good. Hello. Let me restart. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Charge on Pregame show. I am your host, Sean Green, alongside my other co-host, Nick Geddes. This was an on-the-fly setup. I should have known better. We've got one mic. We have a sound mixer. The post-game show, get ready for the post-game show because we're going to be on the field. I brought a suitcase full of stuff for the post-game show, but the pregame show is more relaxed. We are inside the bounce house right now. Fans have not come in yet. But Nick was saying, we were muted. So Nick grabbed the mic and didn't get to talk. But I'm going to let Nick talk about kind of what we've saw from the fans. Good turnout, which is what we expected.
Yeah, there's been a lot of energy here. You wouldn't tell they're playing New Hampshire. It definitely feels like a first game of the season. We got the students in my eyesight right now. We're all waiting to come in. We're about minutes away from all the fans piling in here. The tailgate for a Thursday afternoon looked incredible. We did not indulge. We we showed restraint. But, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I made the drive up and look forward to having a good season. Like you said, we're going to be much more buttoned up when we get to the postgame later on, hopefully celebrating a UCF win.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're more buttoned up. Knowing my luck, it's going to be just as.
Hey, I'm the king of technical difficulties. In fact, I probably shouldn't even be here because wherever I roam, I bring the technical issues with me. It's just a thing.
Yeah, and listen, I hope that on my end, the stream is not good quality. Let me know if the stream is good quality down below. If it's grainy or something, I apologize. We'll get it worked on for the post-game show, but just trying to get something out before everything. You guys aren't going to get stampeded, are you? Devin, I'm going to be honest. We want fans to come up. I would love for fans to come say hi. We are in front of the front gates, gate 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you guys want to come up, say your thoughts on the show, we'd love to have you.
Look at Ian. Ian LO3 said, should have came to my tent, would have set you up. Ian, please get in contact with us. We'd love to do that for any the future home games.
Yeah, Ian, let me know.
Always stressed out about where we were going to set up.
Yeah, Ian, let me know your lot number because that would be great. Last year we set up, if you guys watched us last year, we were set up in the Coke. There was a Coke tent that we love the guys over at Coke. They kind of set us up. We're looking to still do that, but today was more hectic. First game, trying to get it all out. Let's read some of your comments because there's a lot of you in here for this first pregame show. We really appreciate it. Kevin, happy birthday. Kevin's girlfriend is the most amazing human being. She reached out to me a month ago and wanted me to wish him a happy birthday through a video. So happy you're in here, Kevin. We've got the band coming. I think this is the night.
The little, I can't even remember the Nugget, right? It just went by.
Nugget walked by. It's about to get maybe loud here. But
they're coming right through our entrance.
Listen, you're going to get the real good use. You might not even see them because we're kind of right off to the side. But
let's full stampede coming in.
You should see the players coming in here soon. It's about to get really loud. Hopefully this mic works really well, but you're going to get the real feel. They're walking right by us right now. You're going to see it all, but we're going to still take your questions. Hopefully it doesn't get too loud, but muted Carlos Vega. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. I mean, it's been how many, 9 months, 8 months?
It's been about 8 or 9 months since we've actually seen real college football and real UCF football.
This was the perfect spot we picked because you're about to see everything in our background. Ian, we are back. Devin, good now, so we're good now. Scott Lemon, tuning in from South Dakota. Would you rather have your FCS tune-up against New Hampshire or a perennial power like South Dakota State?
Scott, I'm so glad that we're not playing, or UCF is not playing is it the Jackrabbits, right?
I think so.
I think it's the Jackrabbits. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm UCF, if I have to play an FCS opponent, and I made my feelings known, I would like to see some better competition. I'm for one weak opponent on the schedule like that at a conference. UCF has 2 in a row. But if I got to start out with one, if you're asking me New Hampshire or South Dakota State, it's New Hampshire all day. Because South Dakota State, that's trouble. That's asking for trouble.
Yeah, I'll take the cupcake early. I'm not trying to be playing like Colorado as week 1. This was not planned. What a great start. I'm just gonna let you guys hear the band for a second. Turn down your audio. So it is the Jackrabbits, though.
Yeah, I knew that.
Scott said it is the Jackrabbits.
North Dakota State was the Bison, and y'all are the Jackrabbits. Hey, I'm all for the Jackrabbits.
We're going to get the picture quality sorted out later on, too. We are in a area far away from our good Wi-Fi, our press Wi-Fi. So, Devin, I won't lie to you. The quality isn't great, but we are here regardless. Yeah, I apologize. We're going to make sure the quality is much better. It's on HD for me, but we'll stream through something else for the post-game show to make sure it's better. But glad to have you guys here. Please drop down in the comments below what you guys think, what you guys are hoping to see tonight. Obviously, first look at KJ Jefferson. Again, it is an FCS opponent, so you're not expecting there to be trouble. But listen, I've seen crazier things, right? You go back many, many years, and you had Dylan Gabriel as the backup. And, gosh, we were literally just talking about the starting quarterback that year. No Notre Dame transfer. Brandon Wimbush. So you have Brandon Wimbush, and everybody's just straight up assuming this guy is going to be your starting quarterback. And then crazier stuff has happened, but we're not expecting anything like that tonight, Nick.
Yeah, no, that a little bit of a different situation. I don't think Ja'Cory Brown has necessarily breathed down the neck of KJ Jefferson to be quarterback 1 for this team. We've talked so much in the offseason that KJ Jefferson, if you were to make a Gus Malzahn quarterback in a lab, short of Cam Newton, it probably was going to look like KJ Jefferson. Now, I don't want to put him in that same sort of category because he's not Cam Newton, and I don't think we should get our expectations blown up like that. KJ Jefferson is a solid option at the quarterback position that has a lot of starts under his belt in SEC competition. So I think that's what we're all sort of looking for tonight is how this offense looks with a little bit of a different profile than what we've seen from the last few years of having the last couple years of seeing John Rice Plumlee.
No, it should be interesting. I'm expecting big things tonight for KJ. They're going to want to show not the whole package. They're going to want to show just a sliver of it, but you're going to see a lot of KJ Jefferson tonight. He said not turn it up. Well, they've passed. Luckily, I couldn't hear myself think. It is. Listen, the band's great. I'm not hating on the band. We love the band.
Next to it like that, and it just bombarded you right there.
When you're trying to do a live show with already grainy video, I'm sure it doesn't really help our case. But I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Zachary Yor said, want to see Penny. I'm going to be honest. From everything I've heard, you're going to see Penny on the goal line. Penny Boone is going to get a lot of the goal line touches. I also expect RJ. I expect RJ to get that. But at the same time, Penny Boone's a big back. He falls forward. I'm sure we'll get a big dose of Penny Boone tonight.
Yeah, I think Penny Boone I have to see it up close, obviously, tonight. I'm anxious to see it. But who knows? He could be the Isaiah Bowser of the offense. Remember when Isaiah Bowser was here? Every time they got to the goal line, you knew it was going to 5. And lots of times it would go into those wildcat kind of formations, which we know Gus loves. Sometimes they drive us nuts. RJ, I think, going to be used on those as well. And don't forget Johnny Richardson. Johnny Richardson's been in this program for a long time now. He's the guy that has the home run potential to take one to the house at any given moment. He's going to have a role in this offense. I think UCF's going to lean on their ground game a lot this season, probably more so than people think.
Yeah, and Miles Montgomery, too. I mean, UCF has a four-headed monster at running back. Let's see if I can get this Wi-Fi working better. You know, it is just my luck. I am doing it off my iPhone hotspot, so that's probably why it looks grainy. But I promise for the post-game show, it will be way better quality. I promise, and I appreciate you guys sticking in with us as always. I'm a stickler for quality, Nick, as you know. So that is bugging.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a stickler for quality.
I know. So this is bugging the hell out of me. But as long as you guys can hear us and it's not too bad, we'll make sure it's good for the post-game show. But let's go down. Kevin, what do you guys expect to see out of Jefferson tonight? Do we keep the plays vanilla until week 3 at TCU? Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of KJ. I think you're going to get a big dose of him. But at the same time, it is New Hampshire. They're not going to show you a bunch of these plays they've been working on. It's going to be very vanilla. You're going to run the football a ton. I think our friend Stephen Leonard, who will be on the post-game show, said that he expects there to be 5 different rushing touchdowns from 5 different UCF players. So we are expecting a heavy dose of him, but I would also expect it to be very vanilla. Let's go to Caden. Want to see if the Ted Roof defense is as aggressive as advertised. From everything we've heard, Nick, it's going to be very aggressive. I don't know how aggressive they'll be tonight, but you're going to get a heavy dose of a lot of blitzes, a lot of pressure, which could hurt or help the Knights.
Yeah, I mean, games like this and next week against Sam Houston State, like we've been saying, it's going to be hard to really have any true takeaways for how it relates for the rest of the season. But I just think you don't want them to sort of play around with the opponent. You out-talent them by a large margin. You're at home. The crowd's going to be into this. We all know that. So they need to really flex their muscles in this game. And I think Ted Roof, I mean, same thing defensively. I don't think you have to get too exotic on that side of the football either, because, again, just playing straight up man-to-man, you're a better team than New Hampshire. So, yeah, I think everybody, of course, is so anxious to see just real live football. We want everything to be great. But, again, I don't know how much we're going to really learn about this team for these first 2 weeks, but we're just excited to see it. Like I said, just don't play around with the opponent. Just put them away.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks we've talked about on the show, the first 2 weeks are going to be preseason games, preseason NFL games. You're going to blow the teams out. It's how you blow them out. Are they rough games where the offense, because somebody asked the question earlier, what do you want to see out of the offense? Like, what constitutes a positive game? I think you can tell when an offense is flowing and when an offense is struggling. Like, if you get into a bunch of third downs and you're scraping and clawing for first downs all night, I think you do hit the panic button a little bit. You don't hit the panic button necessarily based off the score of the game. You do hit the panic button.
And also keep in mind, even though the opponent is not a high-level opponent, it is week 1. There are a lot of moving parts on this team in regards to transfers, especially defensively. But 6 of the 11 starters are transfers. And when you have a team like this that is built not exclusively through the transfer portal, but some of the best players on this team at the most important positions are all transfers, you don't really have an idea of how they're all going to mesh together, how they're going to look as a team until you get out here into live football. And so it is great that they do get to play in New Hampshire at home to start with, because like I said, like we've been saying, I don't think anything's going to get too crazy. And the fact that you have 2 weeks to kind of ease into this season is good as well. But again, week 1, if it looks a little clunky the first few drives, I don't think we should overreact, because I think eventually they'll pick it up.
Ian, want to see KJ through the first half at least? I would expect you to at least see him through the first half. A lot of people are assuming. I know, and that is true, but I do expect him to play through the first half regardless. I think he hasn't played all spring. He's been held back. He's not been live. This is the first game he gets to go live, and I think you have to give him – he's played a bunch of college football, right? He's played a bunch of it, but he does need live game reps. He hasn't played live football since last fall. So – I get it's a cupcake team. I get he's supposed to dominate this type of team. But at the same time, you have to give him live reps. You have to play him. So we expect that to be, a lot.
Yeah, at the same time, I not like I've been saying, I don't think Curry's breathing down the neck of KJ Jefferson. But I would love if they get to a point maybe in that third quarter where, let's say, it's very lopsided. And if we get to see Ja'Curry Brown get some reps and stuff like that. I mean, remember last year in the Villanova game, we got to see Dylan Riss a little bit. Yeah. So I'm all for it. If we get to see Ja'Curry Brown play and some of these other guys, especially the receiver position. The receiver position, I'm interested to see. I think they're going to play a lot of all those guys. I think are going to get time tonight, because we talked about the depth chart the other day, and Trent Whittemore is right now plugged into that third spot. But I think he's got a lot of proof. Even as a 6-year player, there's not been a lot of production there. I think there's a lot to prove, and I think a lot of these other guys, whether it's Jacoby Jones, the transfer from Alabama, who is escaping me right now.
Alabama.
Maybe it's not Alabama, Auburn.
Javarius Johnson.
Javarius Johnson. All those guys I think are going to get work in tonight, because I still think that third wide receiver position is going to be very fluid.
Oh, it is. And Trent Whittemore has proved himself in camp, obviously, to get that third wide receiver position. But like you said, who knows? I think you're going to get a big dose. You're going to see all the wide receivers tonight. No question. You're going to get these first 2 weeks. It's almost like a quarterback competition, but for wide receivers. Trent Whittemore won the job out to start week 1. You're going to see all 3 of them tonight. And I'm excited to see them because, listen, there was Chauncey Magwood is a guy that I really want to see. I really want to see it take a step this year, and we heard a lot of him coming out of camp. So excited to see him. Devin, the thing about scheduling FCS teams are we get to see more of the twos and the young guys, almost like an NFL preseason type of thing, which I think that's important to note because there's a lot of guys on the 2 deep depth chart that are young guys. Jason Johnson, I think there's a question coming up, or Devin said, Jason Johnson, first round NFL career starts today. Jason Johnson has impressed. He has impressed. I don't know if he's going to the NFL yet. We got to see him play on the field first, but he's impressed. So you have a guy like that. Andrew Harris, a guy that's been here for a couple of years, finally seems to be getting an opportunity, not starting, but to get those reps is so crucial in a game like this where it's not expected to be close.
Right, and I think the benefit of playing 2 games against FCS opponents as well is the depth chart's the depth chart. But as I just was mentioning with Trent Whittemore, I think the depth chart's fluid at certain positions. You just mentioned Andrew Harris at linebacker. You're going to get a chance to see a lot of these guys play. And I think the coaching staff is looking for situationally, how do these guys adjust to the moment? How do they fit into it? Because, again, you don't know until you get all out there. 6 guys starting on defense who are all transfers. I'm telling you right now, not all of them are going to hit. That's just the reality. That's not being negative. That's just not all of them are going to hit. So if you're an Andrew Harris, just because you're second on the depth chart or you're any of those guys in the defensive backfield where I think there was a lot of healthy competition, that's not going to just necessarily stick. You know, see what I'm saying? When we get to week 3, I think for these first 2 games, there are a lot of opportunities for these guys to play their way up the depth chart. And for those guys that are in starting positions right now, I mean, they can't take plays off, even against FCS competition.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have a lot of positions that you have depth. That's one of the good things. But at the end of the day, if you don't go out and perform, you have the depth right behind you to take your spot. So I think that'll be interesting. Free agency podcast, video quality is off, but content is top. As always, we appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to make sure we were on press Wi-Fi. I think we moved a little bit too far from that Wi-Fi, so I had to go on my phone. We lost the parameters. So I will make sure for the post-game show, and please, for all of you in here, come to our post-game show. Stephen Leonard from Knights 24/7 is joining us.
The most important thing to me right now is I picked a great spot to stand because even though you're standing in my designated spot on the screen.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, see.
I'm not moving because I'm perfectly behind this tree right now. So you're sweating bullets. I'm not sweating at all because I'm behind a tree.
Yeah, see, that was bad. I should have. Yeah.
I'm in a perfect spot, and I don't really care about where my name tag is on this screen right now.
Well, I clearly didn't either. I was focused on why is my video quality look terrible. But it will be good for the post-game show, so we implore you guys to come back after the game to hear all 3 of us, me, Nick, and Steven, talk about everything that happened in the game, take your live comments and questions, because I don't think we were a little nervous because I'm like, we cannot talk about New Hampshire. No offense to the Wildcats. Listen, we're glad that they're here. But we could not talk about New Hampshire for another 30 minutes with no comments.
It would have been nice, it would have been nice to have, they gave us a nice New Hampshire guide up in the press box that has information out the yins.
We should have brought that.
We should have brought that down here, but I needed that 3 days ago.
Yeah, we had to scour the internet for any little sliver of New Hampshire content that we could.
I'm not trying to create an enemy out of the New Hampshire Wildcats.
Absolutely not.
I will create an enemy out of the BYU Cougars, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not creating an enemy out of the New Hampshire Wildcats.
Yeah, BYU doesn't like you very much, but it's okay. It's fine.
Stay out of my DMs. Please.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I couldn't even find the coach's press conference for New Hampshire. Like, I was trying to find the press conference. It wasn't there. So I know. So we are sorry about the quality of the video, but the video quality will be good in the post game.
Evan said heavy rain just started here in Sanford. Hope it doesn't wander south.
I
haven't even looked at the
no. So I do think there's not supposed to be rain here. It's supposed to stay right away from us. So it looks sunny and beautiful out here. Let's keep it that way.
It's where the weather app says sunny skies. So
yeah, so we should be good. Ian, they got to put a cell tower in the dang stadium for real. Yes, not for streaming. It's probably not good that I'm doing it off my iPhone. Well, I'm not. I'm doing it off a laptop. You should see my setup. I wish that if anybody would come in here, I don't even know if people really. There's a lot of people coming in.
Free agency podcast. Are we watching the VS tape?
Dang. See, that's rough. See, now they know it's going to bug me. A comment like that will boost or just downgrade my ego the entire night. I'm going to go rewatch this during the game and be like, why isn't it like this? But the Wi-Fi that we use only has like 1 bar. So this is, as of right now, this is going to be the worst.
Well, you know what? If this is the preseason for UCF, this is our preseason.
This is our preseason.
This is where you iron out the kinks. We'll figure it out.
I'm happy that you guys are still tuning in. We appreciate you guys tuning in. This will be the worst pregame live show of the season, which is saying a lot. If this is our worst, we got it up and live, and there are still here There are still people tuning in, so we do appreciate it. Tim Kneebone, what a last name, said, do you expect the first team defense to be on the field longer than the first team offense? Because all the transfer starters are on defense. Yes, I do. I think the defense needs the work. At the same time, if you remember against Kent State, the defense looked like the number one defense in the country. I mean, me and you after Kent State, again, it was still Kent State, but we were like, whoa, that defense looks legit.
That feeling quickly went away.
Quickly.
Really quickly. I think you're going to see a lot of rotation on that defensive side of the ball, especially in the trenches. You talked about like the experience that a Ricky Barber and a Lee Hunter. I don't need to see those guys play that much. Do you? I don't think we don't need to see those two veterans out there for a while.
No, I want to see the transfers out there for a while.
Transfers out there. I want to see what these guys do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even the backups, like Josiah Pierre. Like, I want to see the linebackers rotate. I want to see a bunch of the guys get in, get reps, because we're going to need them. What's so funny?
I have a couple of questions here.
But no, so that answers that. T3 Taco says, let's go Knights. Tiki Man, I don't like free agency, and I'm not a fan of the portal. Who is? If they are, they're lying to you.
All right, Dabo.
Yeah, we're not Dabo Sweeney here, but we're not fans. But UCF does very well.
You should not live and die by the portal. You have to recruit. Look at the teams that are winning national championships. They all recruit at a high level. That's a common theme.
Not like Florida State. All right, so yeah, listen. Have a range to start. Okay, we read that. Are we watching on a VHS tape here? Yeah, we know. And then he said, I'm sorry, Sean, not a diss on you. I appreciate that. Like I said, the post-game show will not be like this. And if it is, then we have a lot of work to do.
Aiden Carter says, who scores the first touchdown tonight? Oof. I hadn't thought about this long and hard yet.
I know. I have the script. I'm not saying to bet, but if I were to bet, I know who it is going to be.
This is probably not going to happen. I think Randy Pittman gets the first touchdown of the season.
I'm going to go with the obvious answer. It's R.J. Harvey. R.J. Harvey scoring. Yeah, R.J. Harvey scoring the first touchdown.
A little bit.
Yeah, listen. Nick is the, philosophical. Let me try and think really in depth.
Let me put it out there. I kind of mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I am the resident stakeholder in the Randy Pittman fan club. I am all in on Randy Pittman this year. Like, Alec Holler had some nice plays, maybe some inconsistencies, but I think Randy Pittman is one of the more talented tight ends that we've seen come through UCF in some time. And so I've been saying about who's that third target? I think it's going to be Randy Pittman.
They were saying he's basically getting used like the Javon Baker. We talked about that on the pod, that they said he is going to be the goal line type of Javon, throw it up. I kind of say it a la Gronk, but not as big as Gronk, obviously. But same type of deal, all right?
Patriots reference in here.
Always a Patriots reference. Let me keep going. Banksy for president. It's good enough. I appreciate it. My
high school degree, good enough.
I mean, that's our college degree. What are we talking about?
Speak for yourself. Well, every running back get a touchdown tonight. Yeah, that would include Miles Montgomery, who we have not mentioned much.
That would also Cam Martin. I think Cam Martin's still on the roster, right?
I believe so. What was it last year? Who was the fourth running back on the squad last year? I think it was.
Oh no, Stacey Gage. Stacey Gage.
That's right.
Stacey Gage is this year. DeMarcus Bowman was last year.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Last year, DeMarcus Bowman got work in the first game, if I recall. Might have scored. We didn't see much from the rest of the season.
No.
But yeah, I think you're going to see however many running backs are on this roster. I think they're all going to play tonight. I'm not going to say they're all going to score, though. That's bold. I can't go there.
I'm not going to say they all score. I will say you all see them. I also think we will see. We'll see. We're not just going to see Jakari Brown. I think we're going to see a couple different quarterbacks. I think the one that you need to keep your eye out for, I think E.J. Colson gets in the game. I think the young 17-year-old.
You think he's ahead of Dylan?
Yes. Now, listen, I'm not – helps going to practices sometimes. I'm not saying anything crazy. E.J. Colson has looked good in the few times I've saw him. I think we might see E.J. Colson tonight. You might also see Dylan Risk. I think Dylan Risk is the older guy on roster, so it wouldn't shock me. But it would also not shock me if you saw E.J. Colson tonight. Next, if Ted Roof's defense allows a touchdown tonight, is that acceptable?
It's okay, I promise.
We didn't allow a touchdown to Kent State, so that would be a downgrade.
We allowed a few field goals, but if they allow one, I mean, in general, from a defensive standpoint, if New Hampshire scores more than 14 points,
that's a problem.
I don't know if problem is the word I'd use, but I'd go like I would just say that would not fulfill me. If they give up more than 14 points, I think I'd be like a little bit like, But again, let's see how the game goes. If they're playing with a bunch of freshmen and stuff like that at the end, and it's garbage time, whatever. But I think 14 and under is my threshold.
I'll tell you this: if they score 14 points, that will be Sean Green will go on the postgame pod tonight, or not the postgame show, and then our podcast that we're recording at 2 in the morning.
What if UCF's offense scores 70?
It doesn't matter.
Does it cancel each other out? No.
Nope, doesn't matter. 14 points for the defense would be a negative for me. But I think I've said 6. I think you have to keep it to a Kent State score. It's an FCS team. But at the end of the day, here's what I will say. If you're bringing in like 3rd and 4th string defensive players and you're trying to get them playing time and you're trying to get these, it's a lot of transfers, Nick. It's a lot of transfers. So it would not shock me if there's a couple miscues here or there. But at the same time, 14 points is a little unacceptable for me. But who knows? UCF Fez. I hope they pull RJ Harvey and KJ Jefferson out after the first half. I really want to see our backup quarterback. I think it is a 100% chance. There's very few things in life you could do a 100% chance. I think there's a 100% chance you see Ja'Cory Brown in the game tonight.
Well, I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm going to say 95% because I don't deal in 100%. But yeah, it's very, 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 very likely you will see Ja'Cory Brown tonight, and I'm intrigued. I mean, we saw him a little bit at Miami. Some good, some not so good, but yeah, I think we're going to see him tonight. And if EJ Colson gets in the game, I mean,
that's really who I want to see. I really just want to see EJ Colson.
Kind of like, a few years ago, still wish he was on this roster, Thomas Castellanos. We got the chance to see him for the first time. I remember that was really cool.
Yeah.
So EJ Colson kind of in that same sort of vibe. I mean, EJ Colson, it'd be great if he could be your quarterback of the future because eventually, we've been talking about this, you got to find the in-house option. And EJ Colson, I think, has the best shot of the guys that are in the room between him and Dylan and Riley.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We'll see. I'm almost positive you're definitely going to see Ja'Cory Brown. Not so positive about anybody else, but who knows? I'm hoping we see EJ tonight. I think Gus is going to throw the ball more to work the Kinks down since they know they will be able to run. I'm going to be honest. I actually think I would disagree with you, Banksy. I think it's going to be the complete opposite. With running, you're not really giving much away. If you're pounding the rock, it's simple run formations. You're not really giving anything away. I think you're giving more away by throwing the football a lot against a team like this. You're giving more plays away, even though they could be vanilla plays. I think they're going to run the ball a lot more. Do you think they're going to pass or run the ball more?
I think they're going to run the ball more. It's the strength of this football team. It's their identity. It's what they want to do. If UCF's going to get where Gus Malzahn wants them to get, they're going to have to lean on that ground game because, again, keeping expectations sort of in line, KJ Jefferson, I don't think is that guy that's going to be throwing 40 times a football game for you. Like, I don't want KJ Jefferson throwing 40 times, but I want this whoever's running the football, RJ, Johnny, Miles, and Penny, whoever it is, I want to see 40 to at least 40 carries a game out of this backfield. I think that's the balance you want. You do not want KJ Jefferson throwing 40 times a football game.
No, and it kind of brings us to one of our next comments, Ikram Marquez about KJ 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. It wouldn't shock me if he got 1. I mean,
I think he gets 1.
Yeah, I think he gets at least 1. Devin, did Cam Moore get buried on the depth chart after he flashed a little in his freshman year? I don't remember seeing him. I don't know. I have to look. He's definitely buried. I mean, but in his defense, there's just a lot better guys above him that right now are getting the playing time. So we'll see if he can kind of make some leeway, especially during this year. But I think he might be more of a next year guy. Let's go. Devin, that's a bold statement, Sean, but also very intriguing if EJ Colson is QB3 over Risk and Trujillo. Listen, I'm just saying it might have just been, I don't know. From everything we're hearing, EJ's performing really well. You are probably more accurate. It might be a bold statement. To be completely honest, though, QB3 is probably the least thing that matters in this season.
This season, yeah.
So it's like whoever won the QB3 job, it really doesn't matter. As we know, Ja'Cory Brown came in and won the QB2 job very quickly.
I was going to say, I think last year, whoever quarterback 2 was and stuff like that ended up mattering a lot because, John Rice Plumlee was always a threat to get hurt. And we knew that. But, KJ Jefferson, this is a thick dude, okay? He's really, really big. I know everybody's going to refer to that viral clip last year against Alabama, but there's plays like that all over his tape. I don't think there's much of an injury concern for AK. I mean, anything can happen, freak things like that. But, yeah, I don't think the third quarterback is really on the minds of this staff right now.
Heard some positive things about Miles Montgomery. Do you guys think he has more snaps than Johnny come end of season? Yes. I do. I think the way that they've talked about Miles Montgomery, I'd be shocked if he gets less carries than Johnny. But I also think it's all situational. Like it's situational.
Johnny, though, I like having 3 to 5 plays maybe set aside for Johnny, because again, he's got that home run potential. Okay, sometimes he can be a very frustrating running back, though, right? We saw that a lot last year. Just not seeing the holes well and things like that. But I still think that there's a lot of speed in his legs, and I think if you give him at least 3 to 5 touches somewhere, maybe a little bit more, I think he can still do damage. And so I don't know. I mean, I have to see Miles Montgomery out here tonight. He was listed 4th on the depth chart for a reason, but again, depth chart can always be subject to change.
Subject to change, and listen, again, you're going to see all of them. I think that's going to be by design. They want to get guys playing time, especially in that running back group. You have the one-headed snake at RJ. You have the two-headed snake with Penny, and then you do have multiple guys that can play.
And if they're all capable running backs like we think they are, maybe don't be taking your Heisman ticket for RJ Harvey. I think that's a large part of the reason why RJ Harvey. I know I'm switching the subject a little bit. That's fine, but I think a lot of people, you included, feel like RJ Harvey doesn't get enough respect around the community. The Big 12 is loaded with running backs. I'll just say this. I think part of that comes from the fact that RJ Harvey, people are expecting Penny Boone to cut into his workload. They're expecting these other guys to cut into his workload. I don't think you're going to see RJ Harvey get 30 carries. Maybe sometimes if they absolutely need it and it's clear that maybe Penny's not working out or whatever. Again, we don't know. We're about, how many minutes to kick off right now? We're about
53 or
50 minutes for kickoff right now. We're going to find out as this season goes on. But I don't know if I would be rushing my RJ Harvey Heisman ticket in, because they have the bodies to rotate out.
I'm going to be honest. Whoever said rain, you jinxed us, because it's kind of looking, unless it's just cloudy.
Feels good.
It feels good right now. I'm loving it because I am sweating bullets. Luckily, I'm wearing black because it's blackout. I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first Charge On Pregame show. A lot more people than we expected. We appreciate it. We've grown this channel a lot. We're going to be doing a lot more of these. We're going to be doing one later tonight in our Charge On postgame show with me, Steven Leonard, and Nick. So join us. We'll be on the field. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is better on the field. I'm sure it's not, but we're going to make sure this is better because I need it for my mental sanity. But I thank you guys for tuning in. Final score predictions. We kind of gave ours, but we'll say it again. I was being more conservative. I said 49-6. Nick, do you want to change yours? I think you said, 56-6? Well, what was your...
I'm going to go 53 to 9.
53-9? Yeah. So, not too shabby, but we appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Do all that you do. Please subscribe. We really do appreciate it. We've gone up a couple subscribers since we've done this show, so we appreciate you hopping on. Hopefully the nights can make it not stressful for us, because it's going to be a long night for us. So if it's stressful, I don't know, for our mental sanity, the season will go too long. So for Nick Geddes, my name is Sean Green. We will see you guys after the game. Thank you, guys.
That went good.
We had